Welcome to the Network Build Grow podcast, the show where business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals share their stories, lessons learned, and powerful strategies for building relationships and growing their circle of influence. With Melissa Taylor, your host, each week we'll bring you actionable insights to help you build a better network and a better business. Let's dive in.
Well, good morning. Good morning to Mr. Don Grothoff. How are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Great. So Don is with Focus Healthy Family, and I've known you for, about 6 or 7 years now. It's been a while.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's wonderful. So first, before we get started into some things, tell us a little bit about, Focus Healthy Family and what you guys do there.
Well, my emphasis in it is doing the EFT tapping. It's something that is there to help people reduce their anxieties, and we work towards senior populations, with the caregivers especially, helping them. My goal is helping them to bring down that anxiety that I've been through. We just came through with my father-in-law, where we had to deal with somebody in the senior population, and the stress level is over the chart, as far as and so my role is to helping the caregivers bring it down and to ease and be able to manage their emotions as they go through this terrible journey that people have to go through.
Yeah, it is a journey. I went through it with my dad as well, and of course, my mom and my stepdad are now, moving towards that. So, tapping. I have to be honest, sounds a little strange.
It is.
Tell me a little
weird.
bit more. Yeah, tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, I've been doing it for 20 some years myself, and when I first got pulled into it, it was kind of by my wife, like kind of pulling my ear to go to this, who became my mentor of it, but Jan Luther, and I thought it was the craziest thing in the world. It's tapping and what, But when I got into a session with her, she liked me able to see right through me, when I do stuff, and it kind of changed my life. And throughout the process of working with her initially, she kept saying to me, you would really be good in this. And I'd say, yeah, okay, I'll, and I put it in the back of my mind, just say, one of these days, one of those. And my business was totally different from that. But when my daughter got into, my first daughter got into OCD really bad,
Mm-hmm.
and we used it for ourselves. We also used it some for her, but a lot of it was for ourselves, just because it was, this journey where I just did with my father-in-law wasn't half the journey of what I went through with the OCD. It was a very tragic time for us,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to get through it and be able to hold our sanity while we're there,
Right.
was a lot. So this tapping process is just a method of, the way I like to put it is, if you think about your home, think about the electricity or energy coming into your home, comes in through a big wire that's outside, and it has to be distributed out to all the computers and the lamps and all the things in the house. It's done through the wiring in the wall. Well, our body is very similar to that. About 95% of what goes on up here is electrical or energy, and our whole body needs that energy. Our cells, our organs, our brain, everywhere needs that. And so within us, we have what I call invisible wires, these little pathways that distribute that energy. They're called meridians. If you've ever done acupuncture, you put those little needles along those pathways of that energy. Well, instead of doing that, we literally tap on the end points of those pathways to get them to calm back down, because when we get into a traumatic place,
Mm-hmm.
those things get fired up and they set us into fight or flight, which is really what anxiety is, what stress is. And so we have to get them back in alignment. Because what it's doing, it's setting that fight or flight up, and that does some physical things to us that most people don't think about. In our body, it's building up cortisols and adrenalines and things like that, which are great for, we got to step back. What it came from, what I think was cave days,
Right.
when
Yeah.
they had to be worried about the next, what a pterosaurus, whatever those,
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
yeah, those things attacking us. And so it was there to build up our strength, get us strong for having to deal with that, either run from it or deal with it. Up here, it literally shuts down parts of the brain that it doesn't need for that battle until afterwards. It needs it afterwards. The immune system is one of them, and the upper thinking parts of the brain is the other one that it shuts down or hampers. And so that's great for, like I say, if we're in that battle, but nowadays we're not there. We're worried about the next bill that we have to pay, or a test coming up at school, or some plan at work.
Yeah, it's not a
No,
like a death, facing death or facing that. Yeah.
will happen.
Mm-hmm.
Souls build up. I really think that's a lot of what leads us to the diseases that we have going on.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of these things going on, an immune system that's shut down, that kind of, I can't do anything, I can't help you any, because it's shut down. So
Yeah. How
so
interesting.
that's what I do. I try to help people, and I've seen some amazing stuff with it. So
Yeah. How many years have you been doing this?
well, I've been doing for probably 23 years for myself.
Okay.
And then I've been in practice now going on 14 years.
14 years.
Yep.
Wonderful. That's great. So now let's talk about the business side. So that's what
Sure.
you do.
Yep.
So the business side, what has been some kind of pivotal things that you have learned in running a business for yourself?
Well, the pivotal thing, and it's tough because I feel like I've kind of gotten to this place now, but you go through, especially when you first start out a business, you're trying to do this and that and this. I can do. Oh, sure. My first business. Yeah, I was doing web design, but I was designing our ads and stuff like that, and doing all this stuff, and it was just spreading myself out too thin.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've gone through my business, it's morphed so many times, and you got to keep your focus on what you really do. And I think this is where I finally, after how many years now of doing this, I think I've really kind of got to that place, but it
Mm-hmm.
took me a long time to get there.
Yeah. So when you stay focused or kind of zeroed in on what you're good at,
Yeah.
and then get other people to do the other stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So if people are starting their business, how do they do that if they can't afford it?
Well, I did it. I guess I can open up now, but I worked for Kraft. I was in corporate,
Mm-hmm.
and I did it in between. I was fitting things in, deciding to do things. I probably took a lot of my own time doing it, and not telling the company about it. But you just kind of do it. You build it on the side and try to do it the best you can. You also look for mentors and things like that can help you out. You might even be able to get a loan.
Mm-hmm.
At the time when I first started my business, I had a package that I dealt with one of my companies with, that I was able to take it down and use the money to be able to invest in the first business, the first of many businesses at the time. But I had some money to be able to do that with.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the companies I had a great 401k plan, and I used it.
Yeah. I think some people say that, you can also go into what's called like good debt, investing in a business that you can see has a return coming back. It's not a bad thing.
You borrow off a credit card or something like that,
Yeah. So interesting. Okay. All right. So now also, so all your businesses that you have had require customers, clients. So, and I know those things, right? Those pesky little things. And they require knowing other people, building kind of a community and knowing other people that can refer you out, knowing other people that know what you do.
Mm-hmm.
So how much has networking played into the businesses that you have owned?
I've gone through, gosh, from day one, I've gone through all the different networking groups there are. I've done what's the one that you have to pay for, all of that kind of stuff. So I've been through all of those. In fact, I got kicked out of one of them for whatever reason. I don't remember at the time, but when I came to NBG,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't about the next sale you could send out, the next thing you could put out. It was the ability just to meet people and connect with people, and I've connected with quite a few of those ones in the group. That's what makes a difference to me for why I've stayed in this long, because a lot of these groups I'd stay in for a year or two.
Mm-hmm.
But and with my business, it's a tough business anyway. For me,
Mm-hmm.
talking about this weird thing, they don't always get it, and they don't always give me the leads that I would need, kind of thing.
People have to get to know you, really know you, because
Yes.
it's a strange kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've gotten to know the people in this group, and that's what I say. That's why I've stayed in it as long as I have. It's not a networking group as such. It's more of a, my mind can't come with it.
Well, we talk a lot about collaboration and strategic
Yeah.
business alliances and, building those referral systems,
Yeah.
not just
And-
prospecting. I think
Yes.
a lot of networking groups do that as well, but there are still some out there that are still more prospecting groups.
Yes, and
Yeah.
you get the more local companies that are the plumber, all that kind of stuff, that they don't help me a lot. I mean, they could if they really deeply knew what I was doing. They could probably see all the anxiety people they deal with, but
Right.
that doesn't lead for me.
Yeah. You need to really build strong relationships with people who are going to take the time to understand what this tapping thing is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, which just, I would assume that takes a good bit of time for people just to kind of repeatedly seeing you and understanding it and
Yeah.
hearing your stories.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and right now, the way I've kind of come right now, I'm kind of rebuilding my business. So I work with a naturopathic doctor, and that's where most of my clients are built into his program. And I'm trying to extend that out of that area.
Gotcha. Wonderful.
Yeah.
If you network for your business, you already know follow-up is everything when it comes to growing relationships and driving success. But here's the thing. Most of us want to follow up well. We just get stuck. Staying consistent, keeping it personal, making it stand out, it's hard. That's why I use NetEffect.io. It makes follow-up simple, cuts through all the noise, and helps me stay on top of every relationship without dropping the ball. I never miss a follow-up, and honestly, my network wouldn't be the same without it. So check it out, neteffect.io. And right now, you can use promo code NBG50 for 50% off of your first month. neteffect.io, your secret weapon to unforgettable follow-up. Networking is, I love it. And one of the things we talk about with clients and inside Network Build Grow is those strategic business alliances.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that you probably align with are naturopathic doctors.
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a conversation one time, and chiropractors, oddly enough, aren't necessarily the best connection for you.
It just, I don't know.
Haven't had a lot of luck with that?
No, I've dealt with quite a few of them, and I hate to say it, they kind of have the ego is a little bit on the strong edge, let's put it that way. And I haven't been able to do anything with them. I've had a couple that do acupuncture, and we really fit well with that, because in acupuncture you have to do it there in the office and do it, whereas this you can take it home and do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the areas that I've been kind of working on. The naturopathics they haven't really recognized what this can do for them, and I've done a lot in the time I've worked with a naturopathic doctor.
Gotcha. Wonderful. So those types are good referral partners. When you look at people coming into the networking world, what's some advice that you would give to them about like how to kind of go about figuring out how to identify who would be good referral partners for them, good strategic business alliances for their business?
Well, The first one is being consistent in it. Don't come in and expect the first month you're supposed to get 7 leads from 6 people or something. You need to be able to give it time. You need to really take some time and kind of talk to the different people in the group, and even have little coffees with them, things like that, to get to know them a little bit, so you can understand what they do. Once you get to understand it, then you can work on talking to them. You want to go about it slow. The other thing is that you don't want to rush in and give them your pitch right off the bat and expect it all to be great. You want to be able to just talk with them and slowly build your relationship with them. And by doing that, then they start to know who you are and what you do, and they can help you with that.
Yeah. Now, I know that you also have a podcast. You're still doing your podcast? Is that correct?
Yeah. Gina and I, like I say, we were going to work on a business together, and we're still. It might take a while to get that part of it, but we started to doing, because she's an occupational therapist, and she knows the ins and outs of every bit of the journey that we've gone through. We've done it too, but she's also been working in it. So we like to get out there and give information about seniors and about a lot about caregivers and all the different facilities. We've done interviews. We've done her talking. Her talking. I could shut up and just let her take the rest of the podcast, because her knowledge is just about anything is wonderful. So
is immense. Yeah.
So I'm trying to work that out to help me, to support me, and then eventually help us build our thing together.
Yeah. So that's wonderful. Have you ever used your podcast in a to be able to reach out via your networking kind of environment or ecosystem?
What I do with the podcast, we have a program that'll break it down into I can get it as short as like 1 minute if I really want to, but it breaks it down into that, and so I put it out to social media. I don't know, I haven't. I probably need. That's one thing I haven't think about is the people that's in the group, and kind of letting them know and asking them to pass it around, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that would be an interesting way. Lots of times we use our network to actually spread the word about what we're doing. So we're not asking them to send us clients. We're just saying, hey, just kind of let other people know what we're doing. So, all right, well, let's do a few rapid fire kind of questions. I know, right? So this first thing that comes to your mind, what's your favorite way to stay top of mind with people in your network?
I've been communicating with them. My nurse, the naturopathic doctors, I've been sending them letters. And I'm trying to do it once a month, just sending them articles, whatever it might be, with them, because it's hard to get them to notice anything. And I figure a letter will get at least in front of them.
Yeah, so they're talking like the actual snail mail in the mailbox with the stamp
on it.
It
seems a little slow, but like I say, I don't think they pay attention to.
I think it's great.
Online or emails or things like that. So yeah,
I'm a big fan of in the mail. Just the other day I got a whole book from Amazon.
Oh my!
The number one online retailer, and we got a book of toys for Christmas from Amazon.
Oh, so yeah, we get those too.
I'm a big fan of in the mail. So okay, next question. What's your number one tip for starting a conversation at a networking event with somebody?
I think it's just a matter of walking up and say, hey, how you doing? I don't think there's any big statement you have to say. We always go with that, oh, what do you do? And that's kind of good, but to me, it's kind of cliche-ish. I don't know. You might notice something on them, oh, I like your jacket or whatever, start something like that, or just walk up and say, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, we don't have to overcomplicate it.
No, that's. I think we get too. I think it's why we get nervous too. So, right? What do we say? Should we? No, just hey. I'm kind of new to this group. What do you think about it? Something like that.
Yeah. Have you been here before? Have you been to this group before? Just anything. Just don't don't overthink it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. Okay. What's one way that you I guess you kind of answered this with the letters, but what's another way that you maybe add value to your network, not necessarily like the doctors that you want to work with, but just your network in general without expecting anything in return, just a way that you add value?
I like to be able to tell stories about, I have, my favorite lady that I got on an airplane that couldn't fly on an airplane and got her to fly to Australia, So I like to share those kind of stories and know that this is real, that what I do has a lot of merit to it, So yeah, I think one of the other ones I would do is share stories, share articles, whatever, to let the group know.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really a good idea. Okay. And then last question, what is a tool or an app or a system that you use to manage your connections so that you don't let people slip through the cracks?
Well, I just recently changed over to this Mailer Lite. I was doing the other one that we'd had, and I just switched to it. Was a little cheaper, but it really does the same thing, and I really kind of enjoyed it. So it's a way of sending out emails, sending out texts, different things to different clients, and I've got a list of about 500 right now, and you and I are working on trying to grow and build that and get that level up, and get the right mail people on that list too. So that's a big one that I use a lot.
Wonderful. So if somebody wanted to, just kind of dip their toe in the tapping waters, what would be something that you would suggest that they do?
Well, there's a couple different ways. I mean, you could go onto YouTube and you could find all kinds of different people doing tapping, including myself for that matter. That's one way, but you really need to work with somebody. I know that sounds weird because it looks like a simple thing to do, and it kind of is, but to understand what words, because I always have people come back to me and go, I don't know what words to say. I get lost on that. And so you got to understand what kind, it's really their words that they want to use, and knowing the process of it and how to infiltrate it into your life, because it's something I think I do it every day.
Right.
And I think it has a long-term effect of it. The more you do, it kind of builds a shield for you against things that come at you on a regular basis. So I think, I hate to say it but it's working with somebody, and it doesn't have to be me. It could be anybody, but I think it's really important to work with somebody to get to know what it really can do and how it can change your life.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. And we'll make sure that your information is in the show notes so that people can get in touch with you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate it. You're always fun to work with, Melissa. So we love
thanks.
it,
Thanks. We'll see you soon.
Thanks for tuning into this episode of the Network Build Grow podcast. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur or professional. And of course, if you're not yet part of our community, visit networkbuildgrow.com to connect with us. Until next time, keep building and keep growing.